Kirtanam Hriday Antasto Hay Abhadrani Budunoti Sruti Satam Nashta Prayashu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki. Before reciting this Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan, unto Naranarayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasa, the author of Srimad Bhagavatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is the Paramatma in everyone's heart, and the benefactor of the truthful devotee, cleanses desire for material enjoyment from the heart of the devotees who have developed the urge to hear his messages, which are in themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam, and by rendering service to the pure devotee, all that is troublesome to the heart is almost completely destroyed, and a loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, established as an irrevocable fact. Hare Krishna, everyone. So today's reading is, can you see the text? Anyone? It's all right?
We can't see your screen sharing.
We can't see the screen.
What happened? Okay, let me try again. What about now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Prabhu. Coming. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you. Today's text is Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 12, Text 12. Tameva Shila Sampannam Brahmane Dina Vatsalam Goptaram Dharma Setuna Menire Pitram Praja Tameva Shila Sampannam Brahmane Dina Vatsalam Goptaram Dharma Setuna Menire Pitram Praja Tameva Shilam Sampannam Brahmane Dina Vatsalam Goptaram Dharma Setunam Menire Pitram Praja. Somebody repeat this.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
Okay. Can I go through?
Yeah.
Tamevam Shila Sampannam Brahmaneyam Dinavatsalam Goptaram Dharma Shetunam Menire Pitaram Prajaha. Hare Krishna.
Anyone else?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam, Prabhu.
I'm also trying. Tamevam Shila Sampannam Brahmanam Dena Vatshalam Guptaram Dharma Shetunam Menire Pitaram Prajaha. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam.
Dandavat Pranam.
Tam evam shila sampanyam brahmanyam dina vatshalam guptaram dharma shetunam menire pitaram prajaha. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Any more? Anybody else there? Okay, you have to bear with my voice. I still haven't fully recovered with this dreadful thing. Synonyms, tam means him. Anybody else? Sorry, I jumped the gun. Okay. Tam him evam thus Shila with godly qualities, Sampannam endowed, Brahmanyayam is respectful to the Brahmanas, Dina, how do I get rid of this? Dina to the poor, Vatsalam, kind, Goptaram, protector, Dharma Setunam, of religious principles, Menire, thought, Pitram, father, Praja, the citizens. Translation, Bhasila Prabhupada, and preferred Bhasila Prabhupada teach. Dhruva Maharaj was endowed with all godly qualities. He was very respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord and very kind to the poor and innocent. And he protected religious principles with all these qualifications. He was considered to be the direct father of all the citizens. The personal qualities of Dhruva Maharaj described herein are the exemplary qualities of a saintly king. Not only our king, but also the leaders of the modern democratic or impersonal government must be qualified with all these godly characteristics. Then the citizens of the state can be happy. It is clearly stated here that the citizens thought of Dhruva Maharaj as their father. As a child depending on the able father is completely satisfied. So the citizens of the state being protected by the state or the king should remain satisfied in every respect. At the present moment, however, there is no guarantee by the government of even the primary necessities of life in the state, namely the protection of the lives and protection of the citizens. One word is very significant in this connection, Brahmanyam. Dhruva Maharaj was very devoted to the Brahmins who engaged in the study of the Vedas and thereby know the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are always busy propagating Krishna consciousness. The state should be very respectful to the societies that distribute God consciousness all over the world. But unfortunately, at the present moment, there is no state or government support given to such movements. As for good qualities, it is very difficult to find anyone in state administration with any good qualities. The administrators simply sit in their administrative post and say no to every request, as if they were paid to say no to the citizens. Another word, Dinavatsala, is very significant also. The state head should be very kind to innocent. Unfortunately, in this age, the state agents and the presidents draw good salaries from the state, and they pose themselves as very pious, but they allow the running of the slaughterhouses where innocent animals are killed. If we try to compare the godly qualities of Dhruva Maharaj to the qualities of modern statesmen, we can see that there is no actual comparison. Dhruva Maharaj was present in this Satyuga, as will be clear from the next verse. He was the ideal king in Satyuga. The government administration in the present age, Kali Yuga, is bereft of all godly qualities. Considering all these points, the people today have no alternative but to take to Krishna consciousness for protection of religion, life, and property. Tameva Shilam Sampannam Brahmane Dina Vatsalam Goptaram Dharma Setu Nam Menire Pitram Praja. Dhruva Maharaj was endowed with godly qualities. He was very respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord and very kind to the poor and innocent. And he protected religious principles. With all these qualifications, he was considered to be the direct father of all the citizens. Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Loknath Swamiti Namne. Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamiti Namne. Namaste Saraswate Deve Gaurvani Pracharane Nirvisesa Sunyavadi Pascharta Desatarane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Kaur Bhakta. He Krishna Karna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagat Pate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanustate Devi Pranamami Hari Priye. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advait Gadadhar Shivasadi Kaur Bhakta Vrinda. Vanchakalpatra bhayascha kripa sindhu bhayascha patitanam pavan bhayo vaishnavyo namo namah. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram. To the story so far, you will know it. It's at the moment Guru Maharaj got benediction from Kuber, the king of the Yakshas. Remember, he was fighting the Yakshas because his stepbrother Uttam was killed by one of the Yakshas. And in anger, he declared war on the whole community of the Yakshas. And his grandfather came and reminded him that he should not kill everyone for the mistake of one person. There's only one person who killed his brother, and he started killing all the Yakshas. So he took the advice of his grandfather and he stopped fighting. And in return, Kuber, who was the king of the Yakshas, was pleased and came in to give him benedictions. And in return, he could have asked for any benediction, but Dhru Maharaj asked for unflinching devotional service to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that's in short. Let's discuss, though there are just 5 of us, we can still discuss what's the significance of this Dhru Maharaj Charitra. Now, there are 2 child devotees mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam. The other one is Prahlad Maharaj. In Prahlad Maharaj's case, there are a lot of teachings of Prahlad Maharaj. And then also the Lord appeared as Narsingha Dev. But here in Dhru Maharaj's case, quite different from Prahlad's pastimes. So let's discuss what is the significance of it. Why we have to put this story, if you can say, in Bhagavatam. What is there for us? Somebody?
Always purifying. Just by hearing all this katha, we become purified. Also, we get inspiration.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
We learn how to behave in different situations. When you're faced with maybe insult by someone, when we are faced with all these provoking situations, when somebody in our family is hurt by someone else, we know how to respond by listening to these stories.
Can you give a specific example, Mataji?
And the importance of devotional service.
Yeah, the whole of Bhagavatam is got importance of devotional service, but let's see. What is so particular about Dhruva Maharaj? One. What comes in your, when you hear about Dhruva Maharaj, what is the first thing that comes in your mind?
Unflinching trust in the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
He didn't know who Supreme Personality of Godhead was. Remember when his mother, sorry, I'm just trying to get I'm not contradicting you, I'm just trying to get into discussion. So remember at the beginning when the mother told him, he had no idea who the Supreme Personality of Godhead was. He didn't even know his name. He didn't know where to find him. Then even his mother didn't know. Well, she said that I heard the sadhus go in the forest to do tapasya. So he took off. So how can you have faith on?
Prabhuji,
Yeah.
is it this innocence that these two devotees are? God is like Krishna is attracted by the innocence. So are these two devotees are very innocent, and therefore in their innocence they are asked that they have that belief in the spiritual master 100%. That's why that's unflinching word is there.
Or even I thought they're taking advice, like he showed several times in the past time, he knows how to take good advice and to follow it through unflinchingly.
Advice of who?
First his mother, Narad Muni, then later on Swayambhuva Manu. So he's taking advice and following,
Yeah, some words have unflinching trust, faith in his guru. Remember, his first guru is the mother. Then later on, he meets Narad Muni. Narad actually tried to dissuade him, wanted to send him away. But he had full confidence in his mother's words. And going back to Suniti, both of them, the mother and son, were lamenting of the incident that Suniti had pulled him out from sitting on his father's lap. And the words she had spoken, but look at Suniti's character. Though she was crying and lamenting, she was sort of discarded by the husband. And now that treatment has passed on to this son, well, this time she was being disregarded by the father and of course, the co-wife. But now that that treatment is passed on to his son. But what did she advise Dhruva Maharaj in such situation? What was the advice? Somebody?
Don't, even though you're angry on your stepmother, but don't ask for any, don't pray for bad things happen to her. In spite of gone through so much pain.
Exactly. Don't wish for anything inauspicious for others. That was the first advice he gave her. Anyone who inflicts pain upon others suffers himself from that pain. She actually is saying that we are suffering, we too are suffering because of our past karma. She is not blaming anybody else for the suffering they are both mother and son are going on with, but puts it on the past karma. But at the same time, they are not sitting back there, oh, it's my past karma, we can't do anything. They are taking action, taking steps to improve their situation. And Suniti says, what your mother, your stepmother said is correct. Arandhyokchad Pada Padma. Whatever has been spoken by Suruchi, your stepmother, although very harsh to hear, is factual, it's true. What she has said, go and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. She, though very harsh and rude to Dhruva Maharaj, she was associating with Uttanpad, who actually was a Vaishnava, and in association, so she knew that about Supreme Personality of Godhead. So she had told him to go and worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, though the conclusion was wrong, that if you worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead, you can be reborn through my womb and then become the king. And also the Suniti told Prahlad that give up envious attitude towards your stepbrother, any enviousness. So the first to do devotional service, the number one thing we must remember is get rid of enviousness attitude toward anybody. We not gonna get or please the Supreme Personality of Godhead by having that not in our heart against anybody. My dear boy, you also should take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is very kind to his devotees. And he also, or she also gives examples. There are not many examples. Unlike ourselves, we've got the whole Bhagavatam and many other literatures with examples of exalted pure devotees here. Suniti had got only two, Brahma and Swayambhu, his great-grandfather, Dhruva Maharaj, great-grandfather and grandfather. And he said that simply by worshipping his lotus feet, your great-grandfather, Lord Brahma, acquired the necessity qualifications to create this universe. That is the special significance of Bhakti Yoga. She advised him not to accept worship of. She didn't tell him to worship the demigods or anybody else, but straight Supreme Personality of Godhead. As soon as one places the Supreme Personality of Godhead within one's heart, everything becomes easy and successful. Let's go back and look at Dhruva Maharaj had no idea who the Supreme Personality of Godhead, not even his name, didn't know any mantras. And what did he leave the house with? Or the mother sent him away. Didn't pack any clothes for him, no water bottle, no food, nothing. He just left the palace with what he was wearing. No idea where he was going, where to look for Lord. And there are some stories that when he went this is from Kannauj near Kanpur, he had no direction, didn't know where to go. He just headed towards the forest. And there are some stories that he was asked, just like Lord Ramchandra, when Sita was abducted by Ravan, was asking animals and plants and trees, and where is my Sita? Dhruva Maharaj, there's some story that Dhruva Maharaj was doing similar thing, that was asking plants and animals, have you seen the Supreme Personality of Godhead? The if we have the desires, the Krishna made all the arrangements, and Krishna's arrangement is perfect arrangement. Whatever arrangements we make, they are false and it can fail, but not Krishna's arrangement. She arranged Narad Muni to come and guide him. And Narad Muni, though his first thing was saying, where are you going? This is not the time to age to do your tapasya and your study. This is very difficult. In the past, he's telling people that devotees have spent thousands of years trying to please the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Even then, they did not achieve, did not succeed. At the same time, Narad Muni has got his hand on Prahlad's Dhru's head. That means he's blessing him, he's already blessing him. At the same time, he's telling him, advising him to go back home. So, bit of contradiction there. But when we look at the unflinching, this word comes up again and again. What was Dhru Maharaj's response? Dhru, he believed what his mother has told him, his first guru. She refused to take the advice of Narad Muni. Though he knew who Narad Muni was, he politely declined or refused his advice. Sorry, your advice is good for other people, but not for me. And one thing here is highlighted. Inside us, within us is Paramatma. And outside is the Guru that guides us. Once we are determined, once we desire, really determined to do something, do some service, the Supreme Personality within us, the Paramatma guides us, makes things happen. We sing this Guru Ashtakam, Guru Vandana, Guru Mukhapadma Vakya, Chitete Kore Aikya, Arana Kore Himaniasa. Make the teachings from the lotus mouth of the spiritual master one with your heart, and do not desire anything. Guru Mukhapadma Vakya. Though Suniti was Prahlad's mother, but he took her as a guru, and the advice he gave him, that was no matter what anybody else was advising, or no matter what Narad Muni wanted to say, that's it, I'm gonna go and find the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you can advise me, so much the better. Otherwise, thank you. And the next verse of the Guru Vandana is Sri Guru Charane Ratiye Ise Uttamagati Ye Prasade Pure Sarva Asa. Attachment to the lotus feet of the Supreme Master is the best means of spiritual advancement. This is one of the things that I would like to highlight, is that the service to the spiritual master is the best means of his spiritual advancement. By his mercy, all desires for his spiritual perfection are fulfilled. We recite this all the time and should take we got to take notice of it. This, though the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the Supreme, but our Guru, the spiritual master, is, we give higher respect to our Guru. We say it in theory, but it's time we should also practice and give this respect and also practice whatever the Guru has said. For example, it's like Narad is telling us, no, you don't have to chant 16 rounds daily. Just chant 8 rounds because you have to do all sorts of work. You have to earn your bread and butter. Where's the time? What will be our responsibility? Remember, if Narad Muni comes and tells us this, what are we going to do? Anyone?
It'd be difficult to say no to Narad Muni, but we'll have to say, yeah, Prabhupada has told us to chant 16 rounds. And we're doing all right so far, chanting 16 rounds. Managing to earn our bread.
We'll consult our Guru. If the Guru permits, then we'll not chant 16. But then if the Guru says, yeah, Narad Muni says this, but still you have to chant, then we'll chant.
Sorry, I got confused there. Narad, Guru, we have already taken initiation, right? We have promised our Guru that we'll be chanting 16 rounds daily. But then if we meet Narad Muni, this is just trying to make it a bit lighter. If we meet Narad Muni and says, no, I don't have to do it. You've got so many commitments, just do 8 rounds. What will be our response?
Our response will be, we'll ask the Guru first and then do whatever Narad Muni has asked.
That's an element of doubt there, Mataji.
No, but whatever there is, we have to consult the Guru because Narad Muni is not, he's not somebody whose instructions you will disregard totally. You definitely have to consult this with the Guru. This is my understanding. Maybe wrong.
What did Dhuru Maharaj do? That's what exactly what Narad was telling him, that go back home. You are too little to do all these austerities. What was Dhuru Maharaj's response?
He went by his first Guru's advice, which is his mother's advice.
Exactly. No matter. He had unflinching faith in his mother's advice that I'm going to, no matter what, I'm going to go and get the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Guru is more superior to even the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because Guru gives us the direction. We all know this when Guru Govind Dono Kare, that who are you going to pay obeisance to first? Guru, of course. So
Guru, yeah.
Yeah, so this is how, this is the moral of this, one of the morals, that is unflinching determination. This is what made Narad change his mind. Though he was testing, Dhruva Maharaj wanted to find out how sincere, how determined he is. And this very thing made Narad Muni realize that this boy is not going to go back. And he gave in, told him where to go, what to do. He advised him everything that he needed to do. He told him to go to Madhuban, how to perform his austerities, how to do the devotional services, gave him the mantra. Remember, Dhruva Maharaj started with 0. He had no idea what to do, but only the faith in his mother's or the Guru's Vakya advice. And he went on. And looking at his determinations, everybody at the Narad Muni came in. And when he went there in Tapasya, Indra did not sit quietly. He sent in all sorts of people, tried to disturb him. This is in other Purans, not in Bhagavatam, that he sent, apsaras and themselves to disturb, break his meditation and samadhi. It one case, they had the illusory, mysterious animals coming and trying to attack Dhruva Maharaj, but he did not flinch. It didn't even blink, sort of, that these animals were there to trying to eat him. The next one was, I read, was that they brought out sort of, there was imaginary, Suniti, his mother was brought in, who was screaming and crying because she was attacked by animals around the place. No, nothing happened, didn't make a move. Though Narad Muni advised Indra not to do that, because anybody does some more things, Narad gets upset because he thinks that his kingdom is in shake. But Narad Muni advised him, Dhruva Maharaj is not after his kingdom. Though he didn't tell him this, he was going to get something higher than Indraloka. But he's so determined, no matter what came in the way, he did not give in. So that's a couple of things. His unflinching faith in the Guru and unflinching determination. Anybody else want to contribute to it? Please. Come on.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Thank you for a nice class. Yeah, one of the main another points is that he had unflinching determination, because he comes from a very lineage of very prominent Kshatriya. So this Kshatriya spirit, even at the age of 5, he got very offended by his stepmother's comments. I mean, a small boy like this, that was the starting point. So sometimes this sort of adverse reaction by some opponents can sort of put us on the path of getting something which we may have been neglecting or been slack. So sometimes, if the stepmother had made this comment, he might not have got this determination. So
he was insulted so badly that. Can you give another example where some personality was insulted and they found the Supreme Personality? You remember?
Insulted, but he took it in the right spirit. I mean, his teachers were insulting him to take up the Prahlad Maharaj, because his 2 teachers were asked him to do material education, but he did not go that way. So he was very tolerant.
Or they were teaching him wrong things, but I'm talking about insult, like Dhruva Maharaj was insulted. Vidur. Who insulted him? Duryodhan. And what did he do? He left their house, the palace. This service, he was the prime minister of Dhritarashtra. And when he was insulted by Duryodhan, that's at almost the beginning of Mahabharata war. And he left, he went on Tirath. So these 2, this Vidur here is mentioned, he's one of the audience. He's the audience in this. Maitra Muni is telling him these pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj. Yeah, anybody else? Let's have a bit of discussion before we've still got time.
I was thinking, Prabhu, from your from your class, another takeaway was how responsible the role of a parent is. Because for children, they can be like the first guru. And you have to be really responsible what you teach them and what you say to them at any
But
time.
like Mataji, we are parents, are the mother, especially the mother is the first guru. And look at the character of Suniti, what sort of advice, what sort of teaching she's giving Prahlad at such a difficult situation. Both of them are lamenting, crying for the insult because Suniti was already not even treated as a maid servant. So much insult. And now the son, 5-year-old, been insulted by co-wife at such a trying time. What advice you get? Don't think anything wrong of not just the stepmother, but also the stepbrother, the Uttam. Very first advice, don't think anything bad about your stepmother or your brother. And then she picks up. See, when somebody says something to us, insults us, we pick up all the bad things. Here, Suniti picked up one good thing that Suruchi had mentioned, worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The rest of it was wrong. I mean, you don't worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead to be reborn. Worshipping Supreme Personality of Godhead and the repeat is the cycle of birth and death. But here, Suruchi was telling that you will be reborn through her womb. But Suniti picked up one good thing, the main good thing. There was only one thing good there. There's worship the Supreme Personality of God. And she gave examples of what the examples of how worshipping Supreme Personality of God. Brahma was able to do the creation, and his grandfather, Swayambhu Manu, was able to rule successfully. Based on that one statement, she gave examples of the success of the fruit of the worshipping of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So yeah, the mother, parents are the first gurus, and we always say that was that Mata Pita Guru Devam. Mataji, Ma comes first, mother comes first. Okay, anybody else?
Also, it says Dhruva Maharaj was very respectful to the devotees of the Lord, and also very kind to the poor and innocent, two very prominent qualities. So although he waged a very spiteful war against the Yakshas, he is still considered very kind because he was looking after his subjects like a father, and also was very respectful to the devotees of the Supreme Lord.
Was also respectful to his superior, his grandfather, Swayambhu Manu came and reminded him the responsibilities of the king. That remember when he started slaughtering this, that you are going beyond the limits of necessary anger, killing of sinless actions which you have undertaken is not at all approved by the authorities. So he reminds him, Swayambhu Manu reminds him what the responsibilities are, and he takes the advice and he stops fighting. Like this, anybody else want to contribute?
Well, it appears Dhruva Maharaj ruled for 36,000 years. It's a very long time. And a lot of yagnas. So he did not go back to God immediately. I mean, 36,000 is a long time. What would we say to that?
Oh, remember in that age, this is talking about Satyog, the people's average age was 100,000 years. So he ruled for 36,000 years. It's like our time is like 36 years. So you compare that, he didn't rule for looking at the lifespan in that time. Well, he ruled only 36,000 years. The total lifetime in that age was 100,000. So not a big deal at that time. Of course, it's we can't even imagine of that. To sum up, I would say that we need to remind ourselves the devotional service with great determination and austerity. Don't get diverted by minor or any sort of obstructions. We hear from Prabhupada and other devotees that in devotional service there are lots of obstructions. Looking at Dhruv Maharaj's own, the Indra tried to obstruct him and also caused all sorts of problems, but he was determined. He did not fail. So, but what do we do if the authorities tell us off? We stop going to the temple, stop doing our services. We should learn from Dhruv Maharaj's character, no matter what. Devotional service, nobody else comes in between. Devotional service to the Supreme Personality is what our aim is. And once we are determined, the Supreme Personality is sitting in our heart, the Paramatma makes the ways, makes all the arrangements, and that we can't even think of. I would like to mention here my example. We've been thinking about Divya and myself, we've been thinking about gold leafing the altar since 2008. And we didn't manage to do it because of one obstruction or the other, and kept on going. But in 2020, somehow I decided, no, this is it. I want to do it right now. This is the time before I die. Otherwise, I would have to come back to finish it up. This is what Kala Prabhu told me. So, and within 36 hours, I collected the funds for it. And the result is there. And one secret I would like to tell you today is that I had no experience in doing the gilding. The process is called gilding. We put gold leaves on things. It's called gilding. I had no experience, very little experience. I had done Prabhupada's altar back in 2017. That was it, and wasn't even done properly. So somehow managed to persuade Kala Prabhu, and the result is there. I don't know how I completed it. Work from 10 to 6 was 7 days a week, and then COVID came in, made it so much easier because nobody was coming to the temple. So that's an example of my personal example of desire, determination to do something. With these words, thank you very much. Open the heart. See you next time with better voice.
Thank you, Prabhu, for coming in spite of your ill health, coming forward to give this wonderful class and so much nice realization. His Grace Rasaparayan Prabhu ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai,
Yeah.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Gaur Bhakti Bhakti Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna.
Vancha Kalpatra Vishya Kripa Sri
Jai Ho.
Vaishnavan ki jai.